story Liberation just have vastly different understandings of what Liberation is for.
I haven't seen this much importance and attention.
The story itself is a really wonderful, really great setup.
Tractor beam has been engaged.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tractor Beam Comics Reviews, your one-stop shop for in-depth commentary and discussion on this week's Star Wars comics, also the one that came out on Christmas Eve, but we'll get into that. Today is January 21st, 2026. It is the third week of comics in 2026. I'm Matthew. That's Chris. Chris, how are you doing this week?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. So I was getting ready for my game of Star Wars Legion on Friday with my buddy Zoltan, and here in local Bordentown, New Jersey, and at the War Gamers Guild there in Bordentown, nice. Route 130. For those of you that want to know exactly where I'm going to be on Friday at 6:30 p.m. Right. So I happened to tell my buddy, I was like, I don't know what army I'm going to use. I don't know what army I'm going to use to bring. Mm-hmm. And I was going in between maybe the Rebel Alliance or the Shadow Collective. And I'm down there in the basement gathering all my materials, and I literally picked up this awesome miniature. Mm-hmm. For those on audio, I picked up the Maul with the dark saber.
Oh, nice! I couldn't even see that. So there we go. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
There we go. That's a much better representation of it. So I was just looking at him. I was like, "This is such a great miniature." And then I looked down at my phone.
Yeah.
And it popped up like the Maul trailer. I went, you gotta be kidding me. This is a sign from above that I should be using Maul Shadow Collective in my army on Friday, because we're getting apparently a trailer tomorrow, Thursday, on January 22nd. So, yeah, it's like the stars align. I'm looking at this cool miniature, and I look at my phone. It's like, this is perfect. This is great. I'm going to be using these guys, the Black Sun, the Pikes, and Cad Bane and Boss running around. It's going to be great. Is it a sign? The start of my day.
Is it a sign from above or a sign from below? All of the running around the convening the Shadow Collective, running around the tunnels.
Yep.
In Sundari. Yeah, it's a good times. We will join the podcast area at the end of this to talk about that for a little bit, but. First, let's get to the plugs. Get some plugs out of the way. You can follow us on Blue Sky at the Tractor Beam. That's the tractorbeam.bisky.social, and everything Chris is up to. Twitter.com/StarRaptor, StarRaptor, and YouTube.com/StarRaptor. Go check that out, including a little book review synopsis, non-spoiler synopsis that I'll get into that at the end as well. Let's dive into it. Let's dive into the one book that came out today is number 9, and number 8 came out Christmas Eve. But we're doing this together because why not? And I'll explain why we're doing this also again in a bit. But yeah, lots of spoilers ahead for what we're talking about later in the episode. But let's dive into this. This is Star Wars numbers 8 and 9, written by Alex Segura. Art number 8 by Pete Woods, number 9 by Ramon Rosanas and Chris Sotomayor, colors by Chris Sotomayor there, letters by VC's Clayton Coles, and cover by Phil Noto. Description for number 8, Secret Rebellion. As Luke and his friends join a powerful revolt against the Fenrir Consortium, the true villain takes control. A key character is kidnapped by the deadly Xantark gang. Rynn and Valance go undercover in a desperate attempt to maintain the peace. Luke's quest to connect with his Jedi heritage is put to the test, as an ancient artifact might be the only key to victory. Then number 9, The End for the New Republic. Luke, Leia, Han, and Valance struggle to reunite and help their Nagai allies fight for freedom. A shocking death as a hero falls at the hands of the Xantark stormtroopers. A villain's desperate final gamble puts everything the New Republic stands for in peril. Can an ancient Jedi relic rescue our heroes from certain death or doom them? All right, I have two things, 2 character interactions, and then one overall thought with all this. I'll say on their own as comic book issues, I didn't mind it. I thought, interesting developments in this story, and I'll get to that's kind of the overall thought I'll get to in a minute. Two character moments I'm really intrigued by in one of number 8 and spills over into number 9, the Han Valance connection. That Han has Zank at gunpoint and he can't pull the trigger. Venk, whatever letter it is, Venk at gunpoint, and he can't pull the trigger. He's just, I mean, ostensibly he wants information, but Valance is able to see something different. He says, no, you can't pull the trigger. And he explains this more in issue 9. You can't pull the trigger because you're not the guy you used to be. You're not the guy who would just shoot who's in Solo at the end of Solo there. That guy. I need to watch Solo again because I keep blanking on the characters' names. But Beckett, he shoots Beckett point blank like that. Well, Venk is actually an opponent in here, a villain in this story, and he can't shoot her point blank. And instead, Valance does with his Tony Stark blaster with an arm, and again point blank. But the thing he says to Han, what kind of friend would I be to let you go back down that dark path? And it's this kind of symbol of what Valance represents. I think for Han is Valance is sacrificed. I mean, there's a history of Valance sacrificing for Han and Han sacrificing for Valance. That he's the cyborg now. Kind of, he's willing to let go of some of his humanity, let others maintain it. We can question that. I don't think that quite makes sense, right? That you by letting go of your humanity, like the more human someone is, the more human other people are going to be. It's not a zero sum, it's mutually inclusive. But I can see why. I'm not critiquing the writing here. I can see why he has that perspective and that sense of that. His family was all taken away from him, whereas Han, Valance goes into this in issue 9. Han has Leia and Ben now, and we see Ben again in issue 9. That there's a real softness and tenderness that is upheld as a strength, and that was this wonderful moment while they're running into the stronghold there. But so that one stood out to me.
Okay.
In the stronghold itself, Reyna Oskure and Rynn. So Rynn is captured, and of course, there was and there's a history that I'm quite trying to remember. I mean, we know that Rynn was the spice runner, but this sucking her life force and kind of this battle of wits, battle of again, it's maybe similar to, maybe almost a parallel to what the Han Valance dialogue there with Oskure claiming a form of strength and the ability to take a life, when Rynn has this calm strength under pressure. Even just the way Pete Woods, or I think it's issue 9, the way Ramon Rosanas and Chris Sotomayor draw, even her eyelids are definitely worn. You don't really see that often. You don't see the kind of the gray eyes in comic books, but clearly maybe face some torture, certainly capture, and yet she's able to literally kick Oskure in the belly, trying to get her away. But so that just the strength of these new characters. I mean, that's the moment that Oskure and Rynn really stood out to me after it's been 12 plus 9 issues of seeing them over the last 2 years. So I appreciated all that. The last thing I'll say, kind of taking the bird's eye view.
Okay.
Into this again, I'll probably say this again when we talk about issue number 10 and the whole series. But for the longest time, I was all Oh, the Mon Mothma Leia stuff is the most interesting. The most Mothma Leia stuff should be the focus of the series.
Yeah.
Maybe when Alex thought it would be an actual ongoing, then they would build out the story of the New Republic in this time. But since since it's only a 10 issue run, clearly the story itself, the real story, is Luke, Rynn, Han, Valance, liberating Nagai. I mean, that's I wouldn't be surprised if he even changed the name, like the liberation of the Nagai, almost kind of like Tales of the Jedi, the Legends comic from the 90s, had these kinds of names like the Nagasadao or whatever, or the Civil War.
Nagasadao.
These random planets that we don't know about, but give us. I mean, that's the thing. That's how the reorientation in the story itself is happening. In that, that's how novels work. Often you find this new planet, develop this new planet and this new species, and give them a problem, and see the main characters solve it, or fight through it. And so that's what we're seeing here with especially with Luke, this confrontation with Oskure at the end. I know you had a bit of a question mark about some of that, but I thought I liked it, and I liked how that ended up. But
really,
yeah, I'll throw it to
ready
you,
to get into this.
Yeah. So I'll throw it to you. What do you think overall? What do you think of the things I was saying, and then what did you think of everything, that how it ended?
Yeah, what you said was good. It was basically about the only things that I thought were good.
Okay.
So I really liked the Han and Valance thing. I think that's a great callback to those of you that have stuck with the characters since the Imperial Cadet tie-in to Solo days. What a runaround from all the way back then, right? Like 2019 probably, or something. That issue, that the miniseries came out, that established that Valance was the jerk off guy that was really bullying Han and the other cadets around.
Right.
And now we come around full circle to where Valance is actually, doing a solid for Han and acknowledging like how much history they've shared and how he can't change, but Han has, and Han has a family. So I really liked the wake up call. Like, we are in a really great time for developing Han Solo post Return of the Jedi, between the just finished Hunt for the Falcon, and now we're getting this, which is a lot of focus on Han. We're getting to really unpeel the layers of the character, which is what was needed, because we went for so long without any Han content with him for like 4 or 5 years in between Empire, Return of the Jedi in our real lives, like all those months and months of releases without Han Solo around. Yeah, we did get the Han and Chewbacca 10-issue maxi series from Mark Guggenheim, which helped. But still, right now in the present, it really feels like it's a big initiative, almost by Lucasfilm, to be like, let's really dive into the headspace of Han post Return of the Jedi. We really didn't know much about that at all. We see him in The Force Awakens, but that's 30 years later. So the initial right afterward is great. So yeah, love seeing the end of issue 8, because that was pretty sudden. Like, oh my gosh, just like the execution of this character of Zanat, of
Rynn Zanat.
Yeah, no, not Rynn Zanat.
No, Agent
Vank.
Bastion. Or that's later.
Oh, that's another one. Okay, let me get into this. Let me get into the Bastion thing.
Yeah.
I had to write that down.
Yeah.
What a brutal execution.
Yeah.
What a brutal execute. Like,
way to go, yeah.
They do not shy away from just shooting the laser into her forehead. There is no way she's coming back from that. Just a smoking crater in her forehead. Like, we don't really see that in Star Wars much. And it's not like it's bullet with blood, but just the idea of the sudden death of this character. And I mean, she was pretty badass. Like in that other issue, she was going around like Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell in the video games, going around and just taking people out, like sleeper holds and everything else, like stealth mode, just going through and understanding, okay, like this character really has a good set of skills that the New Republic can utilize, and then they're gone. Yeah. She's gone. Just like that in a flash. Like that shows you that the situation they are in is dire, There, at any point, any of these characters could die. We know they don't, but it still shows you that level of stakes that are in the story, that these aren't the Imperial Stormtroopers. Like, these guys are actually good shots. So that bumped up the intensity for me in this issue. Another thing I really enjoyed, you talked about Mon Mothma Land. I forgot to mention this in my review. I wish I could have mentioned it. I thought that was a bright spot of issue number 9. Really going into the mindset of Leia post Return of the Jedi. Like, she is still just wanting to get into the thick of action. She has a family now. She has a baby boy that is depending on her, and she has an entire nascent New Republic government that she is supposed to be spearheading. And if she, meets her demise, then what's going to happen? Like, her risking her life is not on the table right now for the most wisest decision. So to see her take that pause, take that moment to go like, you know what, I can just start delegating people. Like, I don't need to be physically present here. I could actually, this is the turning point in my career. Like, I'm not doing this anymore, putting my life on the line. So I really liked seeing that decision. I really like seeing, again, like that Mon Mothma with the hair from Andor, really getting that cool continuity going in with the actress well represented in that timeline. Was really cool with the art, but as well as executed as those moments where I feel like, especially in issue number 9, there are moments, and even issue number 8, like, I don't know how I feel about this whole idea of the Anzadi species of Reyna Oskure, that they have tentacles that come out of their face and suck the life force out of. It feels so Legends to me in a way that I thought canon would kind of get away from the sillier things like that. Like, oh, I'm basically like a vampire thing that is going to suck the lifeblood out of you, and then I can live longer. Like, it just seems like so random, and it just feels like a crutch that this character is leaning on, and it hasn't been explored, and it was so sudden, and Alex Segura is trying to backtrack and retcon it into the other story for how she survived. Like, oh, apparently Ren Zanat was like the vessel for the survival of Reyna Oskure when we thought she died on the Star Destroyer with Adelhard right at the Battle of Jakku, and it was because of Reyna Oskure, Ren, and then with Ren, her life force was able to like, there's something wrong with her in the beginning of issue 8 or something like that, and it's because her life force is partially gone, so she's like more fatigued or something. They don't really know what's wrong with her. And I'm like, where are we going with this? Where are we going with this, guys? This is like too late in the game. It just feels like maybe he had an idea to make this an ongoing. I would assume so. And they just decided to cut it real quick. And here we are again with the same old record spinning thing that we keep saying, like, could have used more issues, because this stuff feels really fast, out of left field. And then, oh my gosh, don't even get me started on the confrontation between Reyna Oskure and Luke Skywalker. What's going on in this sequence here? Because Luke Skywalker easily handled her when she was, quote unquote, an Inquisitor in the Battle of Jakku, just easily dispatched her, barely had to even try. And in this one, she just comes in full bore, and I mean, I really like the artwork, but I'm having a hard time following it. I don't know if she's physically using her fingernails to like somehow scratch Luke Skywalker in the face, or if she's like spraying something out of her fingertips, like a venom, like a snake, to like hit him in the face. And I just don't. I'm flustered. I'm flabbergasted how a Jedi Knight can somehow succumb to something like this and even drop his lightsaber. I'm like, Luke is too good for this, man. Like, what's going on here? There could have been a better way to deal with this, and it feels just clumsily laid out. I hate to say it, but it just rubbed me the wrong way. We could dwell on that right now if we want. We could just start talking about it, because what was your interpretation of what was going on here?
So, I mean, wasn't worrying about too much about Luke is too good for it, which, I mean, first of all, I can see where you're coming from in terms of needing to seed in how can she can replenish her power earlier, right? We didn't know that. Would have been helpful, but again, I didn't really think too much of that. I thought more, okay, this is why she's able to put Rynn in this vulnerable position. Oh, look at she's in a vulnerable position like this. It's interesting. In terms of with Luke, I mean, it's kind of revealed at the end where he wanted to put that truth hat on, the lasso of truth.
Stupid thing.
I don't know. I mean,
why was he just happening to hang on to this thing? Why would he need that?
Because he wanted to get information from Reyna, I assume, or anybody. But it also provokes this, sparks this interesting dialogue about revealing where Luke is in terms of the legacy of the Jedi and where going and what he's hoping to build going forward. Now we know that doesn't quite work out, but that's the thing I was focusing on was, he's embracing the past at this point, as opposed to say in The Last Jedi where he's had to reject the past. So yeah, I mean, I can see where you're coming from. I just didn't experience it that way. What I also experienced was Oskure, with the truth serum helmet hat thing, saying, "Oh, I've masterminded this whole thing, my escape, and then the scorched earth and that explosion," which you also just seemed to not like, that explosion at the end. I thought it was interesting that she wouldn't have told him if she didn't have the truth hat on.
Okay,
maybe I should have called this truth hats, but she did. And it's interesting in that moment she doesn't need to lie. She's had it figured out. I mean, what you're getting at is also, again, you have to having to rush through this, because what this sets up is this cliffhanger for the final issues. Another, oh no, how are they going to get it, or this one type of scenario, which is, I mean, kind of what you want, what you do for the last issue. But yeah, I mean, I'll say I can see this on my endpoint here. I can see where you're coming from. I didn't mind it as much, but also if people struggle with blocking and motion and whatnot, it might have needed some work. It's an intriguing, this run especially, it's going to be emblematic of where we're at in
transition period that Lucasfilm didn't even know where they were going with this, I don't think. And it's not fair for Alex Segura to be taking the full brunt of the criticism, because he's just giving a job going, you're going to do this, this, and this, highlight this, and then fill it in with whatever you want to put in.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's kind of how it works. I don't know. I've never been inside the annals of Lucasfilm archives to figure this stuff out. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm jumping to conclusions a little bit there, but it just screams to me like we don't really have much of a plan. Let's just go ahead and do this story. Oh, it's not working by issue 3. Okay, we're cutting it. Like
that, or the plan is 10-issue runs. So here's what I suspect. Is, Alex Segura, while he's developing Battle of Jakku, he's plotting out, and he's pitching Star Wars ongoing, the New Republic, from Jakku, maybe all the way up to, who knows, those few years, right? Into the Mandoverse. And then, of course, all the upheaval with Diamond and COVID and whatever, as a result of COVID, the knock-on effects a few years later, resulting in the supply chains and all that. I mean, I don't know about. I mean, Joel was saying, made a point of saying, the leadership transition at Lucasfilm.
Yeah,
it doesn't really have much to do with it, but you never know. I mean, you don't want to make any kind of big commitments, big plans there. Marvel, but the big point, Marvel saying, "Oh, let's just go with these 10-issue runs, at least for now, until things stabilize," or that's how people want their comic book stories now. are these 10 issue novellas and not 10 issue novella miniseries, like streaming miniseries, as opposed to 7 season 22 episode a season. Jason Aaron writing Thor, Unworthy Thor, for 10 years. That's not, Marvel isn't going to do that. DC probably isn't going to. Image will, if an author is willing to risk it. I mean, dang it, I kind of wish Lucasfilm would be willing to give Image a bit of a license. No, they don't want to risk that. That's the thing, is these IPs, they want to protect their brand and protect their storytelling, and Image be more creator owned, and they're not going to compromise on that. So that all happened. So what I suspect is Alex had this idea, he pitched it, he started writing it with the focus on Mon and Leia and the Federal Consortium, and as this sort of instigating spark, we had that. Remember that negotiation scene early on. Those were interesting, right? The politics of that was interesting. And they said, no, we're not going to do this anymore. We're going to go with 10 issues. Also, we don't want to touch anything leading up to the Mandoverse. That's my other thought, is we don't have to touch anything leading up to the Mandoverse, so that we're free to tell whatever stories we want on screen without us canon fans being like, wait a minute, because they're going to retcon stuff. Then is what happens there. And screen will override paper any day, and that's just how it is. So why not? It's just better just to not have any paper stories in there. Once the Mandoverse is done, maybe pick up Alex's idea, maybe pick up someone else's idea. Then we can see this era filled out. We have. It's interesting how he's allowed to fill out this year to the Battle of Jakku, because that had already been filled out in other paper stories, and of course Charles Soule filling out Empire to Return of the Jedi, because that finished in 1983, so he can do whatever we can do what he wants there. Nobody's gonna whatever. That film's done. George Lucas sold it, so now it's definitely done. So yeah, that's kind of what I think happened. So again, that was the epiphany reading these last night. Was okay, this is really a Luke and company liberating the Nagai, is what the story is. It isn't the New Republic story. It's the specific, here's these people that Luke and it's not a New Republic story. It's these people. I mean, it's the story of what kinds of things the New Republic can do, maybe, but it's specifically Luke and Rynn encounter this guy on this planet, and these people are being oppressed by Reyna Oskure and the Fenrir and the Zendart gang and whatever, and okay, they're off to liberate. That's the story. That's what the story is. So it'd be nice if they renamed it something like the Liberation of the Nagai or something.
I don't think the New Republic is a great title for this. It
doesn't. No, not the New Republic, but not Star Wars. Don't call it Star Wars. Call it the Liberation of the Nagai.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So going back to the whole, the whole last 11th hour doomsday thing here with what's going on. Explain to me what's happening, because it's like, okay, there's a bomb or something that's planted on one of the Nagai flagship, which looks really cool, by the way. I got to give a hand to the artwork team, because those things are cobbled together. Imperial old tech that looks like Star Destroyer, but also a Venator and some other elements of other recognizable craft over the years. So I really appreciate the great wealth of designs that they've put in there that really vary it up quite a bit. Yeah. Because at first I looked at that page and I'm going, oh, are these like new versions of New Republic ships like that we haven't seen before? Like, oh my gosh, like Lucasfilm is opening up the treasure trove of like all these awesome new designs we'll see. And then I realized quickly, like, oh, these are just the Nagai. And
oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's exactly it. So like his ship, the captain of the fleet, his ship is gonna. It isn't. It did explode. So
Yeah.
So you're saying that because of his ship exploding, it's going to destroy the entire planet next to it?
Well, maybe not the planet,
Because
but
that's
the fleet.
the way it seemed like the way it's worded almost felt like, oh, the entire planet is going to be destroyed. And I'm going, the only way that's ever happened is if the Death Star destroys it. Like, what kind of doomsday weapon has she developed that is more potent than the Emperor himself? And I'm going, this is far-fetched.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be who is this? The pilot, the captain, like the leader of the squadron. Forget her name.
Oh, the spy from the Ballad of Jakku.
Preeti.
Oh, okay.
Preeti, who's Rynn's partner actually. Kind of commanding this. And I think, she's saying Kith Yeager, evasive maneuvers. That's Kith Alacia. She's also there.
That's
or
the
it could
spy
be,
one.
or it could be Yvonne. One of them. And the entire planet's about to become a ball of fire. It's a death trap. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she's exaggerating there. Maybe cascades or something. Because another Nagai pilot here, whatever, says it won't matter. The entire fleet is about to detonate. So just the fleet.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I mean, I don't quite know what she means by the whole planet, but what I do mean, I mean, the key there is the death trap, right? So interesting, the end for the New Republic. So maybe this was hinting at the bigger story here. Like the New Republic, they commit. Like Yvonne takes a whole big fleet. There's a giant fleet there, and Preeti and them are commanding that wing. They don't have a big fleet. They don't have much. I mean, they just fought. I mean, there's the Battle of Jakku, and there's a lot of forces, but there's a good substantial commitment, and it's luring them into a trap, and that Reyna has set for them. Because you see her clicking the thing. Clearly, I mean, she set off this bomb. Part of that is, I mean, she's fine with taking out the Xantar ships as well. She's getting out of Dodge. She's hightailing out of there. She's about to, or trying to, and then Luke stops her. But yeah, I think that's the fact. It's just kind of underlying this huge big explosion in destruction is about to rain down, or is raining down, and so hopefully someone. I mean, we know Yeager gets out. Who knows who else? So I don't know if that makes sense. If that helps.
Yeah, I guess it irons it out a little bit better for me.
So maybe more might be explained next issue, next month, I believe. And in February. So
because at this point, has the New Republic been completely demilitarized at this point with the act that Mon Mothma states?
We don't know. Possibly.
Wait, did we talk about this? With the Battle of Jakku, didn't they do that like right afterwards or something like that? Or they
well, I mean, we know with the battle. Well, yeah, actually, no, it's true. They had been, sort of, right. So, I mean, we know with Empire's End, the whole drama of that hinges on Mon Mothma, and I don't think it's Philochem. I think he's later, but might be. Someone getting the votes to mobilize a fleet to go to Jakku. And so I guess there isn't necessarily a standing fleet, but clearly they're able to scramble something. Like Leia would be able to scramble something. It's, I mean, it looks like the Rebel fleet, right? It's the same. It's the hammerheads and all that, and X-wings. Yeah. So it is. So it could be like this big trap, but we'll see. Again, we'll see what I mean. It is a cliffhanger, which means we don't know what happens. But intriguing. I think it's intriguing, nonetheless. Any further thoughts before we move along?
Nope. We're gonna have a lot to talk about for the last issue next month. That's for sure.
So I think it's in 3 weeks there. All right. So last week's only talked about last week. I'm going to talk about it again. We're going back to Batuu. We talked about this. Yeah, brought this up last week. Lots of folks on social media never got this announcement, the official announcement of the new to Galaxy's Edge tie-in, the official announcement from Marvel. I forgot to bring these slides up. Let me find those because I need to do that. Okay, there we go. Yes, Echoes of the Empire. I'm going to close that. That's a spoiler. Whatever. It's not really a spoiler. Spoiler for what I'm about to do is what I mean. Yeah. So as predicted, Ethan Sachs is writing the 5-issue run called Galaxy's Edge: Echoes of the Empire. Of course, issue number 1 is April 22nd. So there will be a Star Wars comic in April, a new one in April. We know of. So there we go. Of course, this and I saw this on Ethan's own newsletter. I know. I guess there was an actual announcement. I didn't quite see it, but yeah. So the art by Jethro Morales and Roy Mercado.
Great artists.
Yeah, pretty great artists as well. And this is not the director. Yeah, that is direct cover. That's the direct cover by Mercado. Looks familiar. And yeah, that's Luke there in front of the Falcon on Batuu. I've stood in that exact spot.
Yep.
That's wild. Here is the character Vader variant cover by Linnell Yu. Francis Yu.
Look at the ship in the background.
It's that ship that is
High Echelon.
Yeah, it's the Echelon. Surprise, an Imperial ship and not a First Order ship. That does look cool though. So I've also stood in that exact spot. There we go. And then lastly, here's the Mandalorian and Grogu variant. I don't know if that's Batuu at all. This is by EM Gist.
Probably looks like a Tython, I think.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of doing the Tython thing, right? So this is you got the armor on there already. So yeah, I mean this is for kind of connected to the film, I think. But yeah, maybe. I mean, does Grogu walk around Galaxy's Edge with Din? I think he does.
Yeah. He's like in a little sleep sack thing.
What am I doing here? That's what I'm doing. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, he's in the sleep sack. So yeah. But here he's lifting rocks as he does. Yes, and then we also got a description for number 1. I'll bring this back to that one. So description for number 1, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and Chewbacca head to Batuu in search of important intel and stumble upon a dangerous relic, one that puts them on a collision course with the Empire. And again, as mentioned, the first issue hits local comic book shop on April 22nd. Chris, I'll throw it to you for this one. What do you think of this news and of these covers?
Oh yeah, this was really awesome. I'm excited because this doesn't look like it's going to be just an anthology of a bunch of random characters. Like this seems to be like a fully blown out serialized story. And it just, because I don't think in canon we've ever gotten a notion of Luke has been to Batuu before. So as a lore hound like myself, it's good to know when I'm in Batuu and I see like Luke, it's like, oh, that's canon. like he was there at some point, and now I know the story why he was there, because the backstory of this whole thing is, hey, we're gonna find out why these characters were there in the first place. Like what brought like Oga to Oga's Cantina, for instance. I think that's like one of the stories that's going to be in there. So getting to see these characters about 30 years before where we see them now, and it's gonna, I think Mubo is maybe gonna be the droid guy, his parents or somebody's relatives gonna be in there before he is. Like a bunch of cool stuff like that. We've seen Vader there already in the Thrawn Alliance's book. We've seen Han Solo there already in the Galaxy's Edge, the prior one that Ethan Sachs did. So, and Chewbacca as well. So a lot of the characters we have, but it's like, okay, now what brings the proper Rebel Alliance with Leia, with Luke there? What is this big conflict? I'm looking forward to seeing like what this big conflict between the Rebel Alliance and the Empire would have. What do they have vested? What resources might Batuu have? What is the importance of this planet that seems like it's so far on the periphery? Why does it matter, these gigantic galactic powers,
Yeah, well, again, similar with the First Order, we know a lot of the resistance is there because they're hiding, but the First Order tracks them there. But yeah, well, even like someone like Tython is out in the middle of nowhere too, and that's, there seems to be something about these out of the way planets that have these special connections to the Force, like Planet X, right? The Shrieker.
Oh yeah.
Another example. I mean, Mortis, for crying out loud. Yeah, maybe there's something about Batu itself. Not like this ancient Jedi master named Imagine Earring. that's a Disney Perks joke. That I mean, the Disney magic of it. But I mean, it kind of makes me wonder, because the Dangerous Relic. Trying to remember if Dokondar, didn't he? I mean, he has a connection to the Jedi with not necessarily a Dangerous Relic, but like that little statue that he had. Why he starts that collector's den of antiquities, whatever it's called. Yeah, that I was in July. Different than, it's well, what's going to be interesting is we have these legacy characters, and that's definitely being used to market the thing. Whereas also for nerds like us, we're also like, okay, Oga is not quite a legacy character, but she's kind of up there in terms of her importance. Kind of in our collective memory now. What were we reading where they have to deal with Oga on Batu? Was it that wasn't the Bad Batch novel? Was it a short story or something?
Wasn't it the Crash of Fate?
I haven't read that one, so I know there was. I mean, oh no, it's probably Black Spire, maybe. Yeah, I know. No, I think there's a recent Batu story. Anyway, dealing with Oga and how much she controls everything around there. Was it Master of Evil? That go to Batu?
No,
I don't know. I'll have to recall this. Anyway, this be interesting and to see how it relates to these legacy characters and what carries the weight of the story. Are we actually going to see? Do we even know what Oga looks like?
She's a different kind of alien. I'll tell you that much. We got the description. She might even be her own species.
Yeah. So, looking forward to that. Ethan himself, he referenced his Galaxy's Edge comic and the Galactic Star Cruiser comic, saying that Will Sliney isn't working on this one, but like you said, Jethro Morales and Roy Mercado definitely have their Star Wars pedigree down pat. So, I mean, yeah, this variant with Vader, the Neil Francis Yu, who's done a lot of covers for Vader in the past. Yeah, this looks cool too. Yeah, and I'm just curious. I mean, you're thinking of going this summer, right?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to. I already got my ticket to BlizzCon, nice. So I'll be going in like mid-September. So by then, I'm hoping all the issues of the comic will be out. I'm assuming this is a 5-issue run. Do we know that for sure?
Yeah, 5-issue run.
Okay.
And so issue number 5 will be in August. So
perfect timing. So I'll have the full story. I'll go in there and I'll be like looking at the details, going, "Ooh, they put that." No, they're not going to go that crazy, I'm sure. Yeah. But at least in the back of my head, I'll be walking around going, looking at Vader, going, "Oh yeah, he was just here doing this thing, and Luke was over here standing doing this thing." It gives more like buy-in for me to go, "Oh, this is why the original trilogy characters are here."
Yeah, and that's kind of the purpose of this comic book run for those of us who are like, "Hey, what's the canon story?" and not necessarily being like nitpicking. "Oh, that's not canon." Whatever. How do we go from the Vader to the Resistance base? Like, we don't care about that, but I don't care about that. It's interesting. It's nice to see that they care enough to give us a story about it.
Seriously,
that's what's nice. And got Ethan Sachs to write it. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. So, any last thoughts on this one?
Nope.
All right, and All right, one last little bit. You kind of mentioned this. There's gonna be a mall trailer tomorrow.
Yeah.
What do we think? What are we thinking is gonna happen? Is there gonna be the Shadow Collective in there?
Oh,
Something about
I've been thinking about this a lot.
yeah. Okay. What do you think is gonna be?
I've been
Let's
thinking
speculate.
about this a lot, and I got another tall fouling
Oh,
figure
yeah.
that you can see over my left shoulder.
Sorry,
Hold
you'll
on.
have to grab it. Certain character that Kira has mentioned.
I think that this guy might show up.
Yeah, that would be the hit.
I think there's a very good possibility
Mhm.
that this gentleman could show up. If you're not watching, Prince Zizor, everybody. I think this is our final good chance of seeing this guy in something new in Star Wars, because he has popped up in the comic with Kira in the time of the original trilogy. Yeah, I think now is the time to bring him in, because we're already dealing with the Underworld. It's like, okay, Outlaws didn't unfortunately have him in the game, which I thought was a no-brainer, because you're dealing with all these other syndicates in that, and this is going to be very focused on the syndicates. I think if you want to get a good rise out of people, besides having just a cool badass mall trailer, like, show him for a split second and people will go nuts. People will go nuts. The hardcore fans like us will go, oh my gosh. You'll see all the articles online everywhere farming for engagement, going, long lost Star Wars character makes his triumphant return in this new Star Wars mall show. Like, it's going to be everywhere. If he pops in there, he's going to be everywhere. But I mean, what I really want to see is nothing that I've seen already, because I've seen the trailer at Celebration. I'll be pretty I'll be excited. It's out for everybody, but like, you've had this much time to work on the trailer. Let's at least have a couple new shots in there for the people that have already seen the original trailer that didn't get shown. But and the most thing, of course, the most important thing here is just give us the release date. Let us stop, dancing around the point. I know we have merchandise. There's it floated around again this weekend. Somebody had an early Maul figure with the branding of Maul Shadow Lord. We know we have the comic coming out in March, and I'm pretty sure I follow along with the Disney Plus marketing for their series, live action or animated. They usually don't put out a big trailer until a month and a half before that's coming out. It's usually like an imminent type of situation. They're not putting out trailers 6 months before something comes out. I have a strong feeling that this will coincide with the comic in March. That's my statement. Is we're gonna get the announcement for sometime in March. We're gonna get this. Maybe the comic will come out like the week before or something. They'll time it so to get people to go to their shops and buy it. Be like, oh, here's a sneak peek of what you can expect, and come back next week for the actual episode. And if they put it out in March, let's just say if they have a 12 episode run, like I think the Bad Batch was for the most part, they can have this, March, April, and May, and finish it like a week before Mando Grogu.
True.
It's a good way, Star Wars, up until like last week, Star Wars has felt like it's been on the download for most people. Like, people are more interested in other fandoms right now because there just isn't really any new content for Star Wars. This is a way to kind of get people back into the franchise and the fandom, going, oh, there's this really cool Star Wars show that's coming out every week. And then at the end of it, you're going to have a giant movie to go to the theaters and see. Like, it's going to start to get people back engaged with this and then talking online. It's like the best thing they could do. So I think that'd be a really smart move if they put this out in March. But yeah, I mean, as far as for content, I'm hoping to see that red Twi'lek that we got to see in Celebration Japan's trailer. Just show us the dark gritty, like maybe show us a hut or two, maybe show us again some criminal underlings and things like, hey, even show us like Dryden Voss, like, hey, let's get some Crimson Dawn iconography in there, starting to lay the seeds of what the future of the show could be.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely get the release date. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, definitely the Underworld. He has the Darksaber at this point, right?
I was just thinking about that because I'm looking at the miniature, and Because isn't it like he has the dark saber until Sabine takes it from his
Yeah.
cave, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah. So
Okay, so he would, yeah.
maybe some kind of Mandalorian connection. Although the Night of the Thousand Tears has already happened, I think. At this point, I believe. I also want to see restating what he thinks of the Empire, what he thinks of the times, because that's the interesting thing for me. I mean, Sam Witwer has talked about this, how he's he said the Maul is disappointed and perplexed at the way the Empire has replaced faith in the Force with faith in itself, that I talked about on Iron Cannon. But yeah, that would be just to give a bit of a hook as to what his mindset is, so why he's going to the Underworld more now. Maybe that's where there's more opportunity for him to tap into the dark side or something, and then build up his power base to then confront Sidious, and all that seems to be his end game, or we know that's his end game. What his mindset is at this point. Now that, well, no, Obi-Wan's still kicking around. What his mindset is there. Different thing. Give us a sense. Give us a feel of what Molly Boy is feeling and doing and thinking and whatnot. So there you go. Yeah, and then so that comes out tomorrow. You can bet your bottom dollar that the flagship is going to talk about it tomorrow night. Among other things, next week. Interestingly, Chris, do you know what Star Wars comics are coming out next week?
Nothing.
There's no Star Wars comics. We've finally come up. So now we're caught up. I think this is the first time we've done this since we started this podcast in 2023. The first week where, at least not counting maybe Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, whatever, there are no new Star Wars comics coming out. It's sad because I always talk about people who are just only screen only, whatever. Well, there's a new Star Wars coming out every Wednesday. There are no new Star Wars comics coming.
No, there won't be any until what, February 11th?
Yeah,
we're going into a serious drought right now.
So, what you're doing instead, Chris, is Joel. You're going to be led by Joel in a bonus episode of Iron Cannon. And
Video Game Madness.
Video Game Madness. You guys are going to talk about Mike Chen's Outlaws Low Red Moon, and that will be a spoiler review. So, definitely, if you're okay with spoiler reviews, then watch away. That book doesn't come out until February 3rd. Of course, we got advanced copies, and thankfully, and that. And if you guys want to talk about video game news or something else, go for it. Go nuts. It's going to be an Iron Cannon episode. So Joel is leading that. But it's going to be same Catacoot time, same Catacoot channel, right here on the Star Wars Underworld Podcast Network and YouTube channel and all that. And at 9 p.m. Wednesday, not at 8:30. So yes, come back at the same exact time, same exact place, reviewing a Star Wars that is coming out in February, early February, but it's a novel. Why not? Oh, there we go. Stick around for that. And of course, your review, as mentioned off the top, is up at Star Raptor, youtube.com/Star Raptor. Your short review. Maybe give a little maybe non-spoiler in one sentence.
Oh yeah, sure. So for fans of, well, let me just. Oh, this is really hard. Because there's so much to break down in just one statement here.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, if you want to have maybe one of the best characterizations of a droid you'll ever read this book, because ND5, the BX Commando droid, you get to live through him. You get to understand the logic, reasoning behind what motivates a droid, what gives a droid self-sufficiency, its own self-determination. It's very interesting, very cool. And then for the other character, Jalen, you get to see like how somebody can go from being on top to somehow being a kingpin in the underworld. You get to see how really interesting it is from being high up in the business world to somehow sinking so low that you're dealing with the underworld people, and how that transition could go. So I know that wasn't one single
That's all right.
statement,
Yeah,
but that's what I got.
yeah, no, that's good. Yeah. Would you recommend the book? Do you recommend the book?
I can't really recommend the book
Okay,
because it's really hard, because like
for those who like
have-
the video game.
if you haven't played the video game, the book will spoil the ending of the video game within the first minute.
Okay,
So
but if you have
very
played the video game, and if you like the video game,
if you have played the video game, then yes, I would recommend the book, because I don't want to get into it here, because I'll just say you guys come back next week, so I'll have a lot more to say. I don't want to spoil it all right now. So that's before I get into a black hole of stuff, I'll end it there. Come back next week. Me and Joe will break it down in very fine detail, I'm sure.
There we go. All right. Yes. Do come back for that. We got you covered. I know this is going to be this weird, speaking of black hole, bizarro world in Star Wars comics the next bit. I have some ideas about what to do instead. And then, of course, we'll be back for a good old-fashioned review in a few weeks' time. I think there's some Dark Horse books coming out as well. So, yeah, we'll be there for that. Back for that. But until then, that does it for Tractor Beam Comics Reviews. Chris, thanks for popping in every week. Popping as always. Where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can find me on twitter.com/StarRaptor, where I'm talking about the latest with video games, Star Wars, and more. You can also find me on youtube.com/StarRaptor, where I put up all of my latest reviews, such as my aforementioned Outlaws Low Red Moon review on the channel. Spoiler free, of course. You can go check that out right now. But yeah, we will be taking last week we just broke down on Outer Rim Transmission. Just everybody else was talking about Kathleen Kennedy. We scratched. This is so bad because we scratched the surface with just talking about our feelings about Dave Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy. We didn't even talk about the updates in that Deadline article about all the movie updates. We're like, oh yeah, we'll save that for like the next week or something. Now we're gonna have a mulch Shadow Lord trailer to break down. So it's just like when it rains, it pours with this news, because I was telling the guys, like, we have 5 weeks worth of material in this one article. And now we have another trailer. So we're taking a break this week because I'm going to be out of town, but then we'll be back the following week on that Sunday to talk about Maul and whatever else we could fit into the episode, I guess.
Tis the season. I guess we're all freezing our butts off inside. So we got Star Wars news to feast on. There we go. You can follow my personal Instagram at MNEUG1138. It's also follow my reading list, my 2026 reading list. I just finished Dune Messiah. Great novel. Pretty great novel. There we go. And then that's also my Blue Sky and my threads, but I don't really post there much. Also, as mentioned, the tractorbeam.bisky.social, and for Twitter and Instagram and all that Star Wars news fun, head on over to at the SWU. Also, forgot to mention the Star Wars Underworld network. Here in the network, we got on this YouTube channel, we got super chats. We have YouTube memberships. Grateful for any support you can provide, and the Discord server down in the description below. You can find a link to that. And then on the Iron Cannon podcast, I'm also taking a break from that one. Joel and possibly Dom are going to revisit the artistic intent, authorial intent topic that Joel likes to mine for more perspectives in that one. So good old Ion Cannon type episode. And then I'm off entirely next week. It's gonna be nice. I'm just kidding. I like podcasting, but Joel and Chris are gonna be here talking about Mike Chen's Outlaws Low Red Moon. Pick that up at your bookstore. I guess your local comic book store could get it, but pick it up at your bookstore and give it a read on February 3rd or whenever you can. And then watch this spoiler review of this book coming in. That's gonna be next week. So come back and enjoy. But until then, Chris, happy reading.